Alright, Schlockmeister fans, we are going to watch the Zoo Gang. What the hell is the Zoo Gang? I don't know, let's find out. So a bunch of teens are opening up a club.
Does a police chief know? Of course. I'll give you some advice. Don't light it.
Mark Price from Family Ties, Skippy.
Make me a hot dog.
Jackie Earle Haley is one of the Donnelly brothers.
We gotta pay.
Those twin brothers are his brothers. He refuses to leave, and then Hardin, played by Jason Gedrick. Well, he plays Little Joe Donnelly, and he runs over Hardin's motorcycle. I think we've got a war on our hands.
We're not going to lie down and let them roll over us.
Danny, Kate's right. We're like a giant urinal waiting to get pissed on.
Any more trouble in the town's going to figure the zoo's being run by a gang of...
Later that night, they steal a car, although it's not really stealing, it's Kate's father's car. But they need some wheels. They lured the Donnelly brothers out here with the promise of dates.
Don't I know you?
Just as the good guys got the upper hand, the Donnelly's oldest brother, Goose, shows up. And the fight continues between all parties.
There you are. What the hell are you doing in here? I want to peek at your peckers. What'd you think? I want to know what's going on. You goons planning another suicide?
Ben Vereen plays Leatherface. He's like a local squatter. I think, I don't know, somehow he's the one that gave them this bar location. I don't know the details. But he's a former fighter, so he's on their side. And when the Goose Donnelly shows up, Leatherface kicks Goose's ass. Father Donnelly then shows up.
Thank you. It's a mighty embarrassing thing to have to say, but them boys of mine have been running kind of wild lately, and I have been neglecting my job as a parent.
The war continues.
We have a score to settle.
You haven't gone to the bathroom for you too?
We're gonna put the squeeze on the owner of that little club of yours.
You'll have to think of it first.
Apparently he's been there, staying there, kind of like a squatter's rights. Like the real owner's been dead for years or something, I don't know. So they captured Leatherface, kind of beat him up a little bit. They cut Katie's hair, although it doesn't really look all that different to me. Apparently it does to her, though. So somehow Mr. Donnelly finds a way to take the building from them.
The place was up for grabs.
Prove it off. You gotta...
Nonetheless, the war continues, although the Donnellys now have control of the building somehow.
What are you doing?
Meanwhile, Katie and Hardin are going through some courting. So they have squatters' rights now, do the Donnellys.
You still have a chance. This was as good as...
So apparently if they can get him back on the lot with his trailer within 7 days, he can claim squatters' rights, I guess. So the Donnellys now have their bus on the property, and step one is to glue the door. They then start the bus to get it out of there, flood it, and of course they're stuck inside because the door is glued. They pull Leatherface out. They're trying to convince him to move his trailer. They're all going to move it right now because they only have like a few minutes left. So here they come with his trailer, but they're meeting with some resistance, because the Donnellys brought some thugs along with them. The Donnellys are doing all they can to prevent that trailer from getting on the property by 10 a.m. They have like 2 minutes left or something. Believe it or not, Papa Donnelly pulls out a gun. With a little help from some of the community members around there, as the clock is striking 10, somehow that means they got the zoo back. And that's the end of our movie. Alright, let's talk about the Zoo Gang. If you've been watching my channel at all, you know that I burn a lot of movies onto DVD-Rs and then make homemade box art for it. Here's another example. This movie's not available on DVD anywhere, but it is on VHS, and I do have the pre-recorded VHS. And I've been trying to basically upgrade a lot of my collection to anything that I have on VHS that's not available to be purchased. That's what I do. This is another one of those movies. I'm not sure why I have this movie. I do remember watching this movie on cable years ago in the 80s, and it was somewhat enjoyable. So somewhere along the line, I picked up the VHS of it, and I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it since I watched it on cable, probably about 1986 or so. But the movie itself is somewhat likable. We have a likable cast, and it's just a fun movie to watch. The plot is ridiculous. It's completely implausible. Nonetheless, it's kind of fun, though. Eric Gurry, Tiffany Helm is the cute girl, Katie. You may remember her from Friday the 13th, Part 5, I believe it was. Eric Gurry played Horowitz in Bad Boys, one of my all-time favorite movies. I always liked him. And, of course, Mark Price, who was Skippy on the Family Ties. Anyway, these teens open up this club called the Zoo. Somehow they managed to open up a club, even though they're all kids. I don't know how they did it. Somehow they have squatters' rights, or the guy, Leatherface, played by Ben Vereen, has squatters' rights, so he allows them to be in there. And somehow the bad guys, the Donnelly brothers, and their father, Papa Donnelly, little Joe Donnelly is played by Jackie Earle Haley. You may remember him from Losing It, or The Bad News Bears. I think he was Freddy Krueger, actually, in the Elm Street remake. But anyway, he's the bad guy. Somehow they manage to beat up Leatherface, get him out of there, and they somehow take over the rights of this building. Don't ask me the legalities involved here, because I don't think it's on the up and up. I don't think it's real, but whatever. That's the story. So they got to get them out of there. So they got to get Leatherface back on so he can claim squatters' rights and then get their club back. So he trains them to fight, and ultimately they got to get in there by 10 o'clock on whatever morning this is. And as the time is fast running out, they end up having a big gang war, basically, with the Donnellys. A lot of the community members get involved, too. The good guys win. They manage to push his Leatherface's trailer back onto the property. They reclaim the property, and the zoo opens up again. That's our movie. Anyway, like I said, it's kind of an enjoyable film because it's the characters are all nice. We like them, and it's a likable film. Like I said, completely implausible in every way, shape, or form. I don't know how this movie got made, where it came from, but it exists. I have it in my collection. Has anybody else seen the Zoo Gang besides me? It's kind of fun watching this again. I think I only saw this maybe even one time when it came on cable in 1986. So it's probably been 34 years or so since I watched this last. So, but I remember some of it, and I must say I still enjoyed it. So there you go. It's the Zoo Gang. So anyway, check it out. Let me know if anybody has seen this movie. Maybe it's streaming on YouTube. I don't know. But let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments. The Zoo Gang. Watch it. Bye.